Hi, this is Margaret. Welcome to the New Choir tutorial. The purpose of this tutorial is to help those of you who are new to reading music to understand the musical scores that we use in our rehearsals. Each page has an accompanying audio file. Just click on the speaker symbol to hear it. Hit the space bar, click your mouse or page down to move forward, or just click on the blue arrow that appears on each page. Notes are the symbols which indicate what pitch to sing and what time value to give the note to either sing or play on an instrument. They don't just appear on the staff lines and spaces, but as we run out of room, we add lines and spaces above and below the staff. The notes only go from A to G, and then we start over again as we move up and down the lines and spaces of the staff. We can make a particular note sound slightly higher or slightly lower by putting a sharp or a flat on the note. We'll return to that later. This particular slide indicates the notes on the treble clef. Try to learn the names of the notes. Scott will often refer to a note name in the course of our rehearsals. This slide indicates the notes on the bass staff. Note how the first note is on a second line above the staff and is a note for E. This is the same pitched E that is on the first line of a treble staff. The note C in the first bar is a middle C. It is indicated on the treble clef on the one line below the treble staff. It's in the middle of the bass and the treble staffs. I think that every child learning to read music learns these tricks for learning the notes on the staff. They might help you as well. On the treble staff, if we look at just the lines, starting at the bottom, there's an E, G, B, D, and F. Every good boy deserves fun. The spaces spell out the word face. On the bass clef, we have a G, B, D, F, and A. Good boys deserve fun always. On the bottom of the bass staff, we have an A, C, E, and G. All cows eat grass. As promised, I'm now going to explain the concept of accidentals. As I mentioned when talking about key signatures, the sharps or flats indicated in the key signature are played that way consistently in the score, unless they are changed with an accidental. So an A that is normally sung without a sharp or flat may be sharpened or flattened with an accidental. A flat symbol placed just before the note indicates that it will be moved down one semitone to its flattened version. A sharp moves the note up one semitone. A natural changes it back to the note without either a sharp or flat. Sometimes we use more obscure accidentals, like the double sharp at the bottom of this slide. The altos actually have a double sharp in one of the songs. An accidental operates just for the bar in which it appears. You can change it back before that, but you have to put another accidental on it. So for example, if we put a flat on a note, but we want it to be sung in its natural state within the same bar, we have to put a natural symbol on it. Sometimes if a note is tied across a bar and it has an accidental on it in the previous bar, it stays that way for the next bar, but is changed back the next time that note is sung in that bar. One of the most important parts of understanding music is to understand the notes. What do they look like? How do they relate to the beats of the bar? How long are they held? And when do you sing them in relation to counting the beats in the bar? This slide shows you whole notes and half notes. A whole note looks a bit like a squashed egg. It doesn't have a stem and it's hollow or white. A half note is the same but has a stem. A whole note is held for all 4 beats in a bar with 4/4 time. A half note is 2 beats. It has half the value of a whole note, and that's why we refer to it as a half note. The stem on a half note, you'll notice from this slide, can be on either side of the note. The convention is that when it's in the middle, on the middle line or lower, we'll put the stem on the left side, and when it's on the middle note or higher, we will put the stem on the right side of the note. This is just a convention to make the notes look nicer on the page, and in choral music we sometimes change that if we're indicating, for example, that the basses are singing the lower notes. Even though their notes go above the middle line, we might put the stems going down on those notes. Quarter notes are round black notes with a stem. Quarter notes have 1 beat each in a bar that is indicated as being in quarter time. The quarter, or the 4 on the bottom of the time signature, indicates that it's in quarter time. So in 4/4 time, there are 4 quarter notes in the bar. In 3/4 time, there are 3 quarter notes in the bar. 4 quarter notes make up the same time value as 2 half notes, or 1 whole note. An eighth note is the same as a quarter note in appearance, but there is a single tail on the stem. On this slide, it indicates that if 2 or more eighth notes follow each other, you can join their tails together. If they are all alone with a single tail, it will curl. They'll have a single tail that curls up at the end of the note. An eighth note is, of course, worth half the value of a quarter note. This is a picture of 16th notes. 16th notes look like eighth notes, except instead of 1 tail, they have 2 tails. Also, like the eighth notes, they can be joined together in groups of 4, in which case they would have a double line, and that's how you would tell them apart from an eighth note. A 16th note has half the value of an eighth note. This slide just shows you the relative values of the notes. So whole note equals 2 halves, equals 4 quarters, equals 8 eighths, and 16 16th notes. Some of our scores have what we call triplets. A triplet is indicated by this line with a 3 in the middle of it that appears above a group of notes. Sometimes if the notes might, if they're joined by a line themselves, might just have the number above them without the extra line. A triplet indicates that the 3 notes are to be played or sung in the space of time that 2 notes of that same value would normally take up. So for example, in this first bar we have 3 half notes. those 3 half notes should be sung in the same time that you would normally sing 2 half notes. This speeds the notes up a bit, and they should be sung evenly over the course of the bar. The second bar indicates that we have 3 quarter notes played in the space or sung in the space of 2 quarter notes. And then again we have 3 eighth notes that would be sung in the space of 2 eighth notes. Again, for your purposes, this just means you speed them up slightly and sing them evenly over the course of that same time value. Here's an example of triplets from our song Creep at bar 28. We would sing the words, "What the hell am I doing here?" in the space of basically 2 sets of eighth notes. Again, we just speed up the rhythm slightly in order to do this.